Hi, and welcome to the Ada K Show. I am Ada K. Brown, and am currently a criminal justice major, and I'm a deaf courtroom commentator. Grab a cup of Java, and let's dive in. Good morning, my lovelies. Welcome to the courtroom, all my court junkies. Today we have a lot happening, and I look forward to spending my early mornings with you. Y'all, this is early. Early if you're hopping in. Good morning, out and about with Diane. If you're first in chat, you get extra entries into the end of the month giveaway. Woohoo! I am looking for the court feed actually for the Karen Reed trial. For those of you who don't know, Karen Reed trial is somewhat starting today. We are having jury selection. And then we also are in the beginning stages of jury selection for the Lori Vallow Daybell trial. And we also have the Monica Simatilli trial. And we have one more. It is the Linda Sturmer trial. So we've got 4 trials that we're keeping up with at one time. And needless to say, it's a little crazy in my house. Let me get my coffee. It finished brewing. Oh, I need coffee. I got up at 6 o'clock this morning, guys, my time. But you were so worth it. I'm so excited to have y'all with me. We are currently waiting for the live feed for the Karen Reed. We don't have it yet, but as soon as it pops up, we will. It was my understanding that they were going to be streaming the beginning of the jury selection. Hopefully, we will have something. Otherwise, we're live at 7 a.m. for not, but we are looking. So please be patient with us while we search for the stream. And currently, we don't have any pre-streams loading. So I'm just going to keep hitting it until I find it, y'all. It will happen. It should happen. We should have it. Yes, I'm sounding a little bassy today. I'm almost done with my upper respiratory. Lawyer raises concerns about releasing. Oh, lawyer raises concern about releasing Gene Hackman's death investigation body cam. Why would you be worried about releasing the body cam? Why don't we play this? Let me get it geared up. We're just going to check live communications. I am, love. I am going there right now, Toxic. It was on my plate. We got new documents, of course, that have dropped from As the Gavel Drops. Yay, Miss As the Gavel Drops. You are always as fabulous. We greatly appreciate you. Let me get those up and we'll go through them. Okay, let me put this down. Wait, what's that? We have questionnaire, and we got one more. We got some documents to go through that will keep us busy, y'all. That we do. A lot of documents dropped yesterday. And, of course, we have to give a shout out and thank you to As the Gavel Drops, for they have been our document people. This is where I get all my documents, y'all. It's where I get all of my documents. And they are fabulous. If you like to read and go through documents yourself and learn for yourself, go to As the Gavel Drops in your fabulous Discord, register, log in, validate your account, and you too will be able to have these documents at your fingertips. Thank you again for partnering us with As the Gavel Drops. We couldn't do this without you. Thank you so very much. Thank you for being the first one to like. Excuse me, I'm looking at the order and titles of these so I can get them in the right. Thank you so much. There you go. Thank you so much. Boy, they are going after things. Okay, let's do this one first. I'm going to bring it on stage. I gotta share screen. Uh, get me where I'm always at. Get this the way it should be. Guys, I'm doing multiple things at one time here, so give me some patience, please. Come on. Want you disengaging. Disengage. Thank you very much. Re-engage. I got to get all this set up. I am also we're supposed to have toxic. We're supposed to be in a hearing this morning, correct? Why do we not have anything up for her? Did they change that and I didn't know about it? Excuse me. I do know that Judge Canone made some stricter rules for the cameras in the courtroom. They're not allowed to go live until after the judge has been seated. So we're just going to keep an eye out. If anybody finds a feed, let me know. Until then, let's go to our fabulous court documents, courtesy of Discord. I mean, As the Gavel Drops in Discord. Defendant Karen Reed's emergency motion for relief from this court, March 31st, 25, ordering impounding clerk list of jurors. Here comes Karen Reed, the defendant above closed caption matter respectfully moves the I got to get everything together. The honorable court for relief on its March 34, 25 order to impound the names of the clerk's list of jurors in Norfolk County. Ms. Reed asked this list to be released to her legal team with the understanding the information is not to be disseminated in public. Ms. Reed and her legal team will abide by any protective order imposed by the court. Grounds for this motion pursuant to M period G period L period CH period 234A Mark 67, Ms. Reed and her counsel are statutorily entitled to this list. Ms. Reed agrees that the high profile case such as this, good cause exists to impound the jury's names from the public access, but there are no such grounds to prevent the list from being released to Ms. Reed's and her legal team. Both case sites in the court order blank cited pertain to the post-trial impoundment of jurors' names, and neither involve preventing the defendant and her counsel from accessing juror names during the implement. And it was handwritten as a state by counsel. is not disseminated to anyone or is for counsel and defendants only, be canoni. She granted it. Furthermore, Ms. Reed ability to review this list even more vital given the high profile of the case. Therefore, they respectfully request the honorable court immediately to allow this motion. And she did. But look at this. She is handwriting this on the paper itself. It is such a. Do I have the wrong thing up here? I think I do. There it is. Sorry, my guys. Sorry, guys. So look where she hand wrote on here that it is so ordered and so allowed. That is interesting. Why do we not have Karen Reed up? Anybody know why we don't have Karen Reed at 7:10 in the morning? Karen Reed should be up. So the jury list will be allowed to be given to the defense team, but it is sacred sacrosanct. They are not going to be able to, well, since we're on jury, they will not be able to share it with anyone, but that is okay. They have agreed not to do so. I don't know why this is acting this way. It shouldn't have been. Come on. Drag. There we go. Well, it won't do it. I don't know why it won't do it, but it won't do it. That's strange. Okay. Now we're going to go to the Commonwealth motion for parameters of jury empanelment. Woohoo! We're talking about jury this morning, y'all. Good morning. The court previously allowed the Commonwealth's motion to check the criminal histories of all 16 prospective jurors to determine whether they are qualified to serve before the jury is sworn. The Commonwealth will produce any CORI records to the defense counsel. What some beverage normally gets overturned for. Good morning. Let's go, Brandon. Hadn't seen you in a while. Welcome, welcome. We are still searching for a court feed for the Karen Reed trial. And no, we're not finding it. Let me get back up in here and just type in Karen Reed. 14 hours ago, 13 hours ago, 19 minutes ago. Okay, straight. Okay. Okay. Hold on.
That we are getting very close to the beginning of the second trial. As you say, there's an even larger spotlight as this trial begins. Reed is accused of hitting her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, in January of 2022 with her SUV and leaving him to die in the snow. Her lawyers are using the third-party culprit defense, claiming that people at a house party in Canton killed O'Keefe and are pinning it on Reed. Hundreds of extra jurors have been summoned for the second trial, likely due to the high-profile nature of this case. And the judge has extended the buffer zone around the courthouse.
What the judge is trying to do is exclude extraneous things that could consciously or unconsciously affect particularly potential jurors as they are chosen and as they sit through the trial.
Reed's first trial ended with a hung jury last July, and since then, the lead investigator, Trooper Michael Proctor, was fired from the Massachusetts State Police. He admitted on the witness stand to sending inappropriate text messages about Reed while investigating her. Proctor is listed as a potential witness for both sides in this second trial. Canton Police Officer Kevin Albert and State Police Sergeant Yuri Buchanan were also disciplined. Detective Lieutenant Brian Tully was transferred out of the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office. Jury empanelment is scheduled to begin at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. The process is expected to take several weeks. Reporting live this morning at Norfolk Superior Court in Dedham, Todd Kiskiewicz, WCVB News Center 5.
Karen Reed's high-profile second trial gets a...
Okay, so we're starting in an hour. Good morning, Ronnie. So while we are waiting for this jury selection to start, we are going over some of the court documents that just dropped. Yay! So we have court documents. Right now, we are just starting the Commonwealth's motion for parameters of the jury implements. So they're saying that the Commonwealth previously allowed a motion to check the criminal history of all 16 prospective jurors to determine whether they're qualified to serve before the jury is sworn in. They're worried that they're going to get a criminal on the jury panel. Good morning, Sweet Magnolia. Good morning, everybody. The Commonwealth will produce any CORI records to the defense counsel. In the principles of fairness and equity, the Commonwealth inquires that what ground rules or restrictions are in place regarding either party from conducting extraneous inquiries into the qualification of potential jurors, including internet and social media searches. Well, they're trying to decide or get parameters on what are they allowed to do and what are they not allowed to do, and getting information on the jurors to make sure that they are qualified to serve. The Commonwealth moves for a clear ground rule and boundaries and asks the honorable court to advise both parties. So they're saying, what are the rules? What can we do? What can't we do? Good morning, Miss June. Can we go online and do research on these jurors? Do we have a right to know if they've had a criminal background? If there's anything in their background that they've lied about? They basically want to double check the jury. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to do. Okay. I am double checking as the gavel drops right now, guys. Just trying to do my due diligence and make sure that we're not missing any new court documents. I do have it up and ready to go. So if anything does drop, we will know. Thank you, as the gavel drops, for ensuring that we get what we need to get. We are going to go through the questionnaire in a minute. We need to finish everything else. Now, we're going to go to the Commonwealth renewed motion in limine to exclude expert testimony of Garrett Wing. You're not going to give it up, are you? Boo, you're not giving up the ghost on this, are you? Come on now. Really? How much of this do we have to take? It is now the day of jury selection, and you're still trying to get expert witnesses thrown off the case for Ms. Karen Reed. I'm beyond over it. Yes, amen, sister. Preach it. Now comes the Commonwealth, the above captioned matter, and respectfully requests that the Honorable Court exclude expert testimony based on violation Rule 14 and the defense's presumption that they are entitled to a rebuttal expert testimony. Really? I must have pulled my hair too tight because you're making my head itch. Oh my gosh. March 25th, 25, the Commonwealth received a 24-page report from Lieutenant Gary Wing, and suggests experts in dog training and dog bites. Back on that. Yes, ma'am, only a small part will be streamed of the jury selection. and it will take almost 3 weeks. Maybe we will get done with the Monica Cemetery trial by that time. What do you think? Is that something that is even possible? We're on day 36 today. Yes, Lady Jane, and the I liked y'all. Okay, so the defense proffered Mr. Wing as a rebuttal witness to the Commonwealth's expert, Dr. James Crosby. Oh, boo. So the defense is starting to get people to counteract what you're doing. They're allowed to do that, claiming that Mr. Crosby's conclusions are flawed and incomplete. However, as previously disclosed to the court and defense, the Commonwealth does not intend to call Dr. Crosby in the case in chief. The Commonwealth intends to offer Crosby only if necessary to rebut any testimony of Dr. Marie Russell. There's no sub rebuttal in Massachusetts courts. So what they're saying is, oh, but Your Honor, we're not going to call Crosby. We don't have plans. But if we don't like what Dr. Russell says, or we struggle with whatever, blah, 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 Dr. Russell, we are going to then call in Dr. Crosby to rebut her. That's bull. You plan to call her. Don't say no, they're on the list just in case. It's no big deal. And then you turn around and you purposefully know that you're going to call him as soon as she gets off the stand. By the way, how do y'all like my fabulous red Solo rhinestone cup that I got from one of my wonderful viewers for my birthday? Thank you so much. Remarkably, the defense own expert has rebutted certain opinions of Dr. Russell. Mr. Wing has publicly stated that Mr. O'Keefe's arm's injuries were in no way attributed to a paw, claw, or scratch mark. Yes, I do. Yes, June. Thank you. Thank you. My birthday was Wednesday. And it would be very rare for a dog bite to be punctured wounds where 99% out of 100 times. Oh, these dog bite experts are driving me crazy. I have never seen, and I was a dog groomer, I got bit a lot. There was always a puncture before this. It was like a puncture from the canines and a pull and tear. I have scars all over, little itty bitty scars all over my arm. And I've got one nice one right there. That was a puncture. The older I get, the more they start showing up. See Exhibit A for further defense has also objected the line of testimony stating a jury could not hear from a dog behaviorist on what caused the wounds to the right arm of the decedent. See Exhibit B. A trial judge has substantial direction in determining whether to allow the presentation of a rebuttal evidence cited under the Massachusetts Rule of Evidence. A trial judge generally has discretion to permit the introduction of a rebuttal evidence. However, there is no absolute right to present rebuttal evidence that only supports a party affirmative case. Thank you. If permitted by the courts, the Commonwealth intends to call Crosby would be a legitimate and appropriate response to the defense case and relevant to rebut the defense claim in the victim's injuries were sustained by a dog tag. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for the birthday wishes. It was Wednesday. So they're saying, well, if the prosecution calls Miss Russell, then the defense calls Miss Russell. Prosecution is going to call what's his name? I just lost it. Crosby. And then if Crosby is called, then the defense wants to call Wings. It is a tit for tat. if permitted by the Court of Commonwealth and instant to call Crosby would be a legitimate, appropriate response to the defense case and relevant to rebut the defense claim of the victims were dog attack cited. Rebuttal is legitimate when it responds to the opponent's case. At any rate, the judge, as the controller of the trial, has a nearly unreversible discretion to allow it. Wow. Commonwealth rebuttal evidence relevant to the rebut defense witness testimony about suspects of whereabouts. The defense position that they would then entitle to call Dr. Wing to rebut the Commonwealth rebuttal is unfounded and not appropriate under Massachusetts law. So they're saying that if the defense calls Dr. Russell, which it will, then the prosecution's calling Crosby, which they will. That is where the prosecution says this ends. But the defense has Dr. Wings on their list to call if Dr. Crosby gets called. It's like, but Your Honor, they get another try and we don't. They can't do that. I'm like, come on now. This is getting childish. The defense may not present one theory of causation in her case in chief and matter of right represent a different theory of causation in rebuttal, nor may the defense offer evidence that merely supports her own claims in rebuttal, especially when the defense is aware of this pre-offered opinion prior to trial and could present it as a part of the case in chief. Yeah, let's see how that flies. Good morning, Alita. I am yawning like crazy because I got up at 6 only to be here by 7, only to find out that the jury selection is starting at 9 o'clock their time, 8 o'clock my time. But that gives us time to go over all these documents. Commonwealth motion to impound exhibit in support of the Commonwealth's motion to compel reciprocal discovery of the ARCA witness or to exclude their testimony. Oh my gosh, here we go again. The Commonwealth moves pursuant to Trial Rule 8, Uniform Rule of Impoundment Procedure, that the attached supporting exhibit is to motion to compel reciprocal discovery of the ARCA witness or exclude their testimonies. You're still fighting over the ARCA witnesses. To be filed under scale and impoundment, the Commonwealth's exhibits contain reference to confidential federal documents which are restricted by federal protective order. The protective order does permit disclosure of the Norfolk County for the use of criminal proceeding, provided that the court authorizes the seal and impoundment of records. Commonwealth moves for the exhibits attached to be motion to be impounded. Y'all. For those just joining, I want to share this. This is how Judge Canoni handled this document. Not even at the bottom here, after all the signatures, but up here, she allows the defense to have the list of the names of the jurors selected, but it could only be for their viewing purposes only, not allowed to be disseminated or given to anyone under any circumstances. Now, let's take a little pause from court document. Sorta. We do have the final jury form. Let me go look in Discord. I see a bunch of numbers popping up. Okay, those are Lori Vallow documents. Thank you so much, June. Appreciate it. We are watching diligently for more documentation. And if you would like to watch, go to As a Gavel Drops in Discord and sign up, register, and validate your account. And you can look at these too. Oh. I am so sorry this happens when I get up this early. All right, juror number, do not include your name. Today's date is alleged on January. We know what that is. Does any of the above cause you to believe that you cannot be a fair and partial in this case? I suggest there's going to be a lot of yeses. Have you already started to make up your mind about this case? I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of yeses. Do you have opinions regarding the previous experience as a juror, the fairness of the jury system, the criminal justice system, or the county that would impair your ability to be fair and impartial in both Commonwealth and the defendant? Oh wow, so now that leads me to believe that they're concerned about what the community has heard or seen about the Commonwealth in social media, the county itself. Do you have any religion or philosophical beliefs that would make it difficult you to follow the law? And the verdict in this case, no. The case is expected to garner significant amount of media attention. Is there anything about the high profile nature of this case that would prevent you from serving as a fair and impartial juror? Do you have any family members or close friends reside or conduct regular basis business in Canton, Mass? That's a weird question for me. Ronnie, it is with sadness that I announce that she is going to be going for all charges all over again. Everything, all over again. Testimony were in conflict. If the testimony were in conflict, would you tend to believe the testimony of the police officer more than any other witness simply because it's a police officer? Ooh, that's a good question. Yes, it went all the way up to the First Circuit Court of Appellates, and they upheld the Canoni. If testimony was okay, conversely, would you tend to disbelieve a police officer simply because the witness was a police officer? In Canton, Mass, probably. Do you believe law enforcement officers are genuinely fair and accurate in their investigation? Generally, yes. Canton, Mass, no. Do you have any strong personal beliefs or have been exposed to any strong personal beliefs from friends or relatives about law enforcement officers, prosecutors, or government? Generally, no, just Canton PD. Have you ever been involved in a group of community individuals activity showing support of law enforcement in the outside of your community? Always show support of my law enforcement. Have you ever been involved in a group, community, or individual activity that's critical for the police or law enforcement in or outside your community? No. Have you or someone close to you ever had an education, training, work experience in any of the following fields: law enforcement, military, alcohol, drug, domestic violence? I would have to say yes, because I'm a criminal justice major. Which reminds me, I got homework I got to get done. Criminal justice major would fall into that. Do you have any strong personal beliefs? Have you exposed to any strong personal beliefs from friends and or relatives about operating a motor vehicle while under the influence of alcohol? Well, yes, but that would apply to the whole Canton PD department. I think everybody in that department is. Have you ever been involved in a group organization, participated in a march, demonstration, campaign, or donated money on behalf of an organization or cause that was against drunk driving under the influence, such as SADD or MAD? Yeah. Has anyone close to you ever been involved in an incident involving drinking and driving? Yeah. If so, would the experience prevent you from being fair and impartial? No. Have you or has anyone close to you ever been involved or witnessed in a motor vehicle crash? Yes. Is there anything about the crash reconstruction testimony that would make it difficult for you, unfair and impartial in this case? No. Have you or your family members or close friends been involved in a domestic violence relationship, featured physical, mental, or verbal abuse? Yes. Have you ever been a victim of violent crime? Yes. During the trial, will you hear testimony of medical treatment, death, and review graphic autopsies and photos? Will that affect your ability to participate in an unfair in a fair, impartial juror? No. They should have followed up with, have you ever been a victim of violent crime? If would that violent being a victim of would that violent crime cause you to be impartial and unfair? Uh, they should have asked that question. Do you believe Karen Reed should have to prove innocence? Nope. The defendant doesn't testify. Do you think she's probably guilty or hiding something? Nope. Do you know and recognize anyone you have seen here today in the courthouse in the jury pool? Not sure. Would your answer to any of the above questions be embarrassing or damage of disclosed publicly? Would disclosure infringe your privacy? No. Do you have any concerns about privacy due to the presence of video? No. And then they ask, how did they hear about it? What are the details of the case that you are able to recall? Are you aware of any specific impact this criminal allegation has had in your community? What is your primary source of news and information? Internet. How often are you exposed to news from radio, television, podcast, social media? What source? How do you often do you read print, line, newspapers, magazines, blogs, and sources? What is your familiarity with the case prior to today? A whole hell of a lot. Have you had discussions about this case prior to today? Hell yeah. Is there any reason why you're unable to follow the instructions during your jury service? No. Is there any reason you'd be unable to follow an instruction of the jury during jury services? You may not read, view social media. No, that wouldn't be a problem. I just won't like it. Is there any reason that you have inadvertently exposed or extrajudicial influence or media about this case? You've been able to follow the instructions that you must report disclosure to the court? No. Because they have a huge jury pool to go through. It may not take the full 13 weeks. It may only take a few weeks. It may take 5 to 10 days. I don't know. It just depends. It depends on how fast they come up with 18 jurors. They're wanting 18. I guess 12 plus 6 alternates is what they're going for. Is what I understand. But
And behind me here at Norfolk Superior Court, you can see that the fencing is back up. That is obviously an indication that we are getting very close to the beginning of the second trial. As you say, there's an even larger spotlight as this trial begins. Reed is accused of hitting her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, in January of 2022 with her SUV and leaving him to die in the snow. Her lawyers are using the third-party culprit defense, claiming that people at a house party in Canton killed O'Keefe and are pinning it on Reed. Hundreds of extra jurors have been summoned for the second trial, likely due to the high-profile nature of this case. And the judge has extended the buffer zone around the courthouse.
What the judge is trying to do is exclude extraneous things that could consciously or unconsciously affect particularly potential jurors as they are chosen and as they sit through the trial.
Reed's first trial ended with a hung jury last July, and since then, the lead investigator, Trooper Michael Proctor, was fired from the Massachusetts State Police. He admitted on the witness stand to sending inappropriate text messages about Reed while investigating her. Proctor is listed as a potential witness for both sides in this second trial. Canton Police Officer Kevin Albert and State Police Sergeant Yuri Buchanek were also disciplined. Detective Lieutenant Brian Tully was transferred out of the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office. Jury empanelment is scheduled to begin at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. The process is expected to take several weeks. Reporting live this morning at Norfolk Superior Court in Dedham, Todd Kiskiewicz, WCVB News Center 5.
Well, at 6:30, the second.
All righty then. So there we go. That is where to remove me. I meant to do this. This jury selection, I think, is going to be very interesting. Why are you up? Honeyboo. My honeyboo sent me a message 8 hours ago. Honey, why are you up? Well, because I couldn't sleep.
Katie and Antoinette, good morning. It certainly does. And behind me here at Norfolk Superior.
We lost my service dog on Saturday. She passed away. And it's been a hard day, hard week, hard times. And I am back on the list. I am back on the list for another one, but it's going to take some time. It won't happen anytime that it most likely won't happen until next year. But I still don't have a feed for the new. Good morning, Gerald. Yes, that's what all of us are saying, Honeyboo, but the Supreme Court upheld Cononen's decision, so she's being retried on all 3 counts. It's basically states because good morning, Miss Morales, because the jury did not fill out the form and it was not read out in the public courts, it does not count. I am looking.
Katie and Antoinette, good morning. It certainly does. And behind me here at
video footage, guys, give me a minute.
Justice Correspondent Matt Johnson. Matt, great to see you as always. On that third-party defense, big part of this case, what can you tell us?
This is the ruling that we were waiting for. It's a massive ruling there out of Dedham, and it's a split ruling, one that impacts the entire retrial and the defense strategy. Judge
I'm so against this split ruling, it makes me want to split.
Beverly Canoni ruling that the third-party defense for Colin Albert is denied because the defense failed to show any evidence that Colin had any, quote, motive, intent, and opportunity to kill John O'Keefe. And there was no evidence ever presented at trial to show that he was at 34 Fairview at the same time John O'Keefe was at the home. But the defense can introduce evidence of third party with Brian Albert and Brian Higgins. Take a listen to these arguments about this earlier this month.
The defense in this case has more evidence of third-party culprits than the defense did in Finney. We're not asking this court to allow into evidence hearsay, as was admissible in Finney. We're solely seeking to introduce the crux of a third-party culprit defense, which is evidence of motive, opportunity, and means, all of which Brian Albert, Brian Higgins, and Colin Albert had.
There is no motive. There is no motive. To suggest that one person was pining, although the text messages don't show that, they both stopped corresponding with each other days before. To suggest that Mr. Albert is friends with Mr. Higgins and therefore he is bootstrapped into a conspiracy to kill with no evidence. There is no opportunity to murder John O'Keefe when all the evidence points at him dying on the front lawn from an alleged collision.
Take a look at your screen. Here is the order. Judge Beverly Cannoni writing this, quote, "The defendant is precluded from raising a third-party culprit defense alleging Colin Albert is culpable for John O'Keefe's death." Goes on to say, but not prohibited from raising a third-party culprit defense as to Brian Albert and Brian Higgins. Counsel cannot mention potential third-party culprits in opening statements, but will be given the opportunity to develop a theory through relevant evidence at the trial. As you know, this is on the eve of when this trial begins. Tomorrow morning begins jury selection.
Whew. Wow. Thank you so much to Matt Johnson. Michael, I just have to mention, we were talking about why not Colin Albert.
Yeah.
I feel like a good big piece of that is the fact the judge found there was no evidence suggesting that Colin Albert was at the home where John O'Keefe was found. And that kind of makes sense to me now.
Yeah, there was no evidence of that. And I remember the connection they had made was that Colin allegedly has some kind of argument with the victim in the case. And they also, which I thought was a really powerful piece of evidence in the case, showed a picture with friends where his knuckles were scraped.
That's true.
Suggesting that might have happened the night that this victim had died. So she has the benefit of having heard that testimony already. So you have to remember that as well in making this decision. I think, especially to Colin Albert, it's pretty big.
Yeah, I think so too. Absolutely.
All right, let's bring in our guest for this hour. Joining us, criminal defense attorney Josh Schiffer. Josh, great to see you as always. All from your travels. I've been following you on IG. Travels all around. I wish I was with you. But want to get your reaction to this judge's decision. A bit of a surprise for me. Honestly, you have to find some nexus between whoever you're going to allege. You can't just drag people through the mud for no reason. Here, it seems as though she found some evidence to suggest that there was motive, opportunity, and means for Brian Albert, Brian Higgins, but not Colin Albert.
It's great to be here, and thanks so much for welcoming me back. I couldn't be away for this one. This case, it just gets more interesting with each one of these rulings, because when you step back and look at this, y'all are right. This is a big hit for the defense, who had leaned very hard on the participation of Colin Albert, that knuckles photo, as that nexus that Michael was just talking about. The state took a dramatic move in trying to preclude a defense before trial because they knew it was coming. And that's really smart. It's really aggressive, but it also set them up for a little bit of failure, because now the defense can fully swing on the two other McAlberts involved. And there's still the opportunity for Colin to come back in if that door is somehow open. It's just shut right now. And that clarifies kind of the pathway for the defense in how they structure their argument. Big win for the state in at least hamstringing the defense to a degree, but it's not over by a long shot. We're going to hear a whole lot about the McAlberts.
Listen, I took it as a huge win for the defense because we didn't know what the judge was going to do. And I wasn't convinced that the judge was going to find the evidence of the motive, opportunity, and means to the extent that would make her say you can use any of these as a third-party defense. So it is a split ruling, but I think the defense can take this and run, developing the testimony like they did in the first trial to really make a jury think it could have been. And that's all that has to happen. One juror has to think it could have been one of those two, and she could then not be found guilty.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Judge. And it is that, hook to hang your hat on. And we know the intensity of this case. Any juror that is selected for this trial is going to know the moment they go in, even if they've somehow not heard about this and are going to claim independence. But the intensity of these parties is palpable in such a small courtroom. You've got all the associated drama on the outside. And now the defense has its clarity. We know what the argument is. That is a giant win for them with this approval. But again, there's always another side of that coin with the state being able to prepare their arguments in advance, knowing this is how the defense is going to structure their argument. They're not going to go rely on some of these other associated issues people have made a big deal about. We're going to hear direct allegations about third-party culprits causing the death of Officer John O'Keefe.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Josh, stand by. Michael, I have to mention this. I don't know if you've watched any of the new documentary where they follow the attorneys after court, and you get to hear fresh from the attorneys' mouths for Karen Reed what they thought about what just happened in court. Boy, would I love to have been able to hear what they thought after they received notice of this split ruling.
Look, at the end of the day, there's plenty of evidence involving Brian Higgins and Brian Albert in this one. Brian Higgins in particular, there's some weird stuff going on.
I agree.
So I think they still have enough ammunition to fight this case. So while it was, I think, a win, a win, like you said, for them in terms of, I think losing Colin Albert's a problem, but I think they'll be fine.
I think so too. We'll see what happens.
Okay, some people. That's interesting.
Crime and Justice correspondent Matt.
Let me get me back up and running. Got new unreads. What is unread? Oh, Karen Reed videos. Breaking. Major ruling in Karen Reed. That was last night. Okay, guys. New unreads. Okay. Trying to get my Discord back onto live connection. So if you need to communicate with me and you are in our mods, please do so in live communications. That is one that I am looking into agreeing with you on.
Katie and Antoinette, good morning. It certainly does. And behind me here,
I'm looking for the proverbial fan. I don't have the feed yet to the Karen Reed trial. Does anybody have the feed? It's my dyslexia kicking in, or it's just not there yet. Yeah, that's what a lot of attorneys are talking about right now. And so we'll have to wait and see. Does anybody have the feed? I don't have a feed for her case yet. And somebody else has the proverbial fan up. So I'm like, how in the heck did you get the feed? Let me refresh everything. Everything I have is like 14 hours ago.
Welcome to Canton Confidential. 1 week from today, Karen Reed will walk back into a courtroom to take part in her second murder trial. Good evening, everyone.
Everything I'm finding is several days old. Yeah, I'm looking too. I got Boston 10. I've got Court TV. I've got Law and Crime. And I don't see it anywhere. Yeah, that surprises me. How in the heck could have been upheld all that way? I don't understand the appellate. I was really shocked. Really, really shocked. Judge Cannoni has been upheld. See, I think they're almost afraid. They're almost afraid to go against her at this point. I'm sorry, guys. I am looking for the court feed. If you have it, please let me know in comments. But right now, I don't have any court feed. Just looking. Well, there is a code of the yes, there is a code of criminal procedure. You're true. You're right. But the thing is, I think everybody's upset about is the fact that when the jury was at an impasse, she should have asked, are you an impasse at all of the charges, one or some of the charges? Where is the impasse? Don't tell me the numbers. Don't tell me the detailed information, but where are you at an impasse? And they would have said, count two, lesser. And they would have said, okay, count one. How are you in agreement? Yes, not guilty. Count three, are you in agreement? Yes, not guilty. Had she done that one little bit of questioning, we wouldn't be here with all three charges today. But that's the way she handled it. By the way, Derek, we have donuts and kolaches in my office and milk in the fridge. Donuts and kolaches. My son blessed me with donuts and kolaches this morning. I shouldn't have had it. But I have had it. Trying to keep me awake, but I can tell you I'm already struggling to stay awake because I'm not used to getting up as early as I did. Good morning, one sunny day. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We're looking for no yummy glazed donuts and kolaches. Sausage and cheese kolaches. So come get. I see nothing. Nothing. Nothing on Karen Reed. If I don't have you. Yeah, Karen Reed, nothing. Anybody else find anything on Karen Reed? They're supposed to start in 1 minute, and I don't have a live feed yet. The court may not have a live feed. I'm going to go to Discord. Oh, I love looking at some other people's Discords. It's funny. Thank you, Veronica, for putting my live chat up in our Discord. Thank you so much. But right now, we have no feed, and I'm frustrated. Even Boston. There's a traffic problem there. Oh, maybe I ought to go to Doug. Pull up X. If you want to know what's going on, pull up X. Former FBI agent Michael Esser will not be allowed to testify about the investigation into John O'Keefe's murder. The jury will not be allowed to hear from the experienced expert witness who wants to tell them that the investigation was improper. Additionally, Judge Canoni denied the defense motion to allow to mention FBI investigation, as well as other motions to be allowed to mention the fact that Arca was hired by the Fed. They're trying to hide everything. So there you go. They're not going to be able to bring up FBI or the Arca or the Feds. That sucks. Hey, everybody. Good morning, Miss Yana. Thank you for joining. I hadn't seen you in a little while. I'm looking. Everything is days out. Nothing is like right now. I'm going to go ahead and put up Aiden alleging. Okay. Nothing. 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 See, nobody has anything.
New lawyers, new tactics, new trial, same charges. Boston police officer John O'Keefe is dead. His girlfriend Karen Reed is accused of his murder, but the defense says she's the victim of a massive cover-up. Now, new evidence could change everything. NBC 10 Boston is taking you back inside the courtroom, bringing you every minute of her new trial, live. Don't miss a minute as the saga unfolds. Canton Confidential, the Karen Reed murder trial. Continuing coverage streaming on the NBC.
Is there a delay in the trial? Does anybody know what's happening? Because I can't find anything. I mean, I am literally scouring, and I don't have a feed. Stop this. 14. Let me go here. Forgive me, guys. I know everybody's waiting. Everybody's wanting. But we don't have Karen Reed yet. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. You did send me a link? Where did you send it? Did you send it in live communications or did you send a direct link to me? We do have the combined witness list link. Thank you very much. We will start talking about that in a minute. In live communications, that's interesting because it didn't show up yet. Let me go back. What I see that you sent me is the Linda Sturmer Day 3 link, not the Karen Reed. Linda Sturmer, we can watch Miss Linda Sturmer, but that is not the link I need. Linda Sturmer is getting ready to start. She is accused of murdering her ex-husband by torching him, catching him on fire, running him over with her vehicle. So that is not the Karen Reed link I'm seeing there, babe. The Karen Reed witness list by alphabetical order is 150. 150. Why are they still listing Michael Proctor as trooper? I don't know. Judge Canoni was not going to wait for that. They were going to select their jury, and then once the jury's been selected, then if there is an appellate issue, they will hold the jury. See, 14 hours ago, 3 days ago, 6 days ago. Let me see what Boston 10 has. 6 days ago. They said that they would be broadcasting. They said They said that they would be broadcasting. I might as well just show y'all this. How about we do this? This is that same guy that did all the testing on the tail light.
And they were talking about pattern recognition. And I got to thinking about it.
You did, Boo. It's just very long.
If the light was hit from the outside in with a pointed or a sharp object or something even metal, would have hit the tail light.
Hello, Karate Cut Mom. Miss
When polycarbonate breaks, wherever the point of impact is, that fails first. So I put this tail light back together. This is the one that I hit with the arm. That's the whole piece. Remember, the sides broke off, so if I push that together, this is the whole piece of the tail light. And everybody knows that this one was smashed 14 times. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. 6 major pieces broke off. Of hitting that with a 9.5 pound simulated arm that is actually more sturdy than a regular arm. But you can clearly see the impact points. You can see where it hit, but when you turn it around, you can see the spider web. You can see all the places where the tail light broke on the inside, but you don't see it with the bullet hole effect. That's because I hit this tail light with a blunt object. Now, when you hit it with a sharp object, it blows it out like a bullet hitting the car windshield. Because essentially it does the same thing as a bullet hitting the window. It goes through that part, and it takes that little fragment with it. And that little fragment would have went inside the taillight. And it blows it out, and when you put the taillight back together, it leaves a hole in it that looks like somebody, like a miniature, maybe BB gun size hole. And I've been thinking, what could cause that size hole? Well, I remember them talking about the rear of the truck door, the actual tailgate.
It's hard to recognize what's depicted in this exhibit.
Yes, I do.
What do you recognize that to be?
That's the damage I noted on the rear door.
So I went through the trial photos, and I've seen the pictures that they've taken of that. And what it is a big pry bar with the pointed end. But like most pry bars, when you use them, the end of it used to be pointed. But now it's more mushroomed, so now it's got a flat surface on the end. And that dent in the tailgate matches this point exactly.
It's hard to recognize what's depicted in this exhibit.
Yes, I do.
What do you recognize that to be?
That's the damage I noted on the rear door.
That could be one major hit and 3 bounce off where it hits and they go.
There's no part of a human arm. There's no part of a cocktail glass. Even if he was wearing a watch, if he had his phone in his hand, nothing is going to dent the tailgate the way the tailgate is dented in with the paint missing. It looks like almost like a BB has hit the tailgate. And what it was, he took the pry bar and hit the tailgate and then hit it again, and you could see where it kind of swirled and scratched at a downward angle, probably about this angle. But it got behind that chrome trim because the chrome trim is broken, and the chrome trim is even stronger than the taillight. That thing is real strong. And it's not because of the actual strength of the plastic, it's just that it's so flexible that it doesn't break. So if an arm hit it, it wouldn't mess up any of the inside of it. You've seen how many times I hit this taillight. As hard as I was hitting it, it didn't damage anything on the inside. It would take something sharp like this. And what he did was he went in at an angle and he pried it. That's how he broke that piece of chrome trim. And then it went through. I believe this on the taillight that they have in evidence. I believe if you were to take it all the way apart, like I've taken mine apart, I believe you would see broken pieces in the back from this strike as well. There's no way that that went in there and didn't break something in the back, like the board. There's a circuit board right behind this, and the closest point is right in here, like right where he would have hit it. Once he goes to that plastic and breaks this chrome trim, then this thing just goes straight through a void. Now on Karen's light, if it was missing a piece, it was missing that like fingers looking pattern right through here. It was missing the finger pattern right in this area. There's a hole down in here where it was punched through. And there's a couple other holes. I'll show it on a picture. I'll insert a picture on here. Now what he did, he didn't use a screwdriver. He was using some sort of a pry bar. I don't know how long, how heavy, anything. But what I do know is he took the pry bar and he went through the hole that was already in there, busted through there, went inside the back of the taillight housing, ripped this part off, because that's broken on the trial video. Went through there, broke that, and he must have broke the taillight off this way.
I really like this.
So he had that jammed in the back of it all the way through, probably to the circuit board, and then pulled it extremely hard to break this. This is like a flexible, like almost a rubberized metal. That's why I couldn't break it with the hammer. I knew what it was. I knew what the material was, but I couldn't break it with a hammer. And he pulled that, broke this, and also deformed the light underneath this. And that's where the LED is for that one, which one LED damaged, both of them are damaged. There's one right back in this corner, and then there's one right here. I'll circle it in the video. So what he did was went through the hole, tore off a chunk of the tail light, but he went through there, pulled it, broke that, deformed the back of underneath here where that LED is, but you got to remember that part broke. So that was the first pull that he did. Like I said, there's a hole down here where he tried to bust it out. There's a couple more marks around. I'll circle them. And what I think he did on this part is he went up through the same area where this crack is on Karen's light, where when she hit John's car. He went up through there, went underneath the light, and since their turn signal light is a separate deal, he had the pry bar up through there and he jerked up on it and it broke the back of his light off. It took the lens off, the clear lens over the turn signal, and then tore this back corner off, which is right there. This whole piece on the trial video is missing. And you can see the circuit board, which I'll show you in a minute what the circuit board's supposed to look like, but it's laying horizontal and it's supposed to go up and down. So after he broke the lenses off the front, then he came over to the side with the same tool that he was using, and that's when he jammed whatever it was in here and then broke the big piece off to the side. It kind of looks like the Africa continent. It's all the way through here, but he stuck that tool in there and put the scratch on it, just like this one has the scratch. I don't know if it's showing up. It's got the scratch on it right there. But he stuck the pry bar in there and pulled that whole big piece off of it. Now that scratch was the first thing that got me thinking that it was man-made or intentionally done. Because how would anything scratch the inside of the taillight like that? Not only scratch it, but scratch it exactly where the brake is. Now on this taillight, this is the one that I did with the screwdriver and has the bullet looking shapes in it, where it's got the center part missing where it's been poked out. So that's the first part that's going to break before it starts cracking the rest of it. Now on this one, he went down in this corner with the pry bar through the outside where the crack already was. It lines up perfectly. He broke all of this off. It went back in here and twisted all this up. So all this is messed up. This corner on the taillight is broken. And it has the scratch right there where it was pried off. Now this one I can take apart and show you the circuit in the back. Now if you notice the picture on the trial, this board is visible through the housing because this whole piece right through here is missing.
There's no way that all that damage could be done with an arm.
It's missing from about here all the way up. And this part of the taillight is encased in the vehicle. So there's no way to break that any other way except for to use some kind of leverage on it. But this board in the pictures, it's like this. Naturally, it's slanted back. In the pictures, it's flat like that. So this board is probably broke off in half and hanging over. The pictures aren't good enough to decipher what else is broken up here, but the turn signal has its own is its own module. The turn signal part is encased in its own light, and it has this rubberized plastic that's extremely hard to break. It encases the turn signal light, and then it goes up to the top to protect it all. So it would be impossible for that to get broken by anything other than a tool purposely breaking it. And this corner down here, where the tool went inside there, I've already done this one with the pry bar. Right down inside there and pried it. That's the only way. Well, actually, on this light, it would have been in this direction. Got it underneath that chrome ring and pried it back. But underneath here, that's the LED, that little speck. A little bitty speck right there at the tip of the screwdriver. That's the LED. But the circuit board is right behind there is the stuff that operates the light. You can only stick the screwdriver in there about a 1/2 inch. Well, less than that, because that's the bracket that holds the circuit board, and this is the bracket right here that I'm hitting. That holds all the circuit board, the LED, and the wiring. Which, when you hit it right through there, it definitely broke this LED. And with this LED broken, the other one won't work either. If I was the defense attorneys, I would get my hands on the taillight, even if it's in court. And another thing I'd like to mention with that circuit board broken for the taillight circuit, if there's any videos anywhere showing Karen taking a right-hand turn from the rear, if her turn signal illuminates, then that's a smoking gun, because the way that circuit board's broke, the turn signal in the back wouldn't work on the right side or the passenger side. It absolutely would not work.
That's a lot of work to get that.
LEDs are behind that little hole right there. And then there's another hole up in this corner, exactly where he broke it. So he actually sent the pry rod right through where the LED is, which would have rendered the LED completely useless on the bottom. Both of them would have been out, because once one's out, they both go out. Now, where is the, I can't touch this one too hard, or it's gonna, that side piece is gonna fall off from where I broke it. And the scratch on the side that I showed with the screwdriver, he didn't use the screwdriver. He used something like this pry bar and went into the, in between the taillight, the actual red cover, and then that silver piece in there. See, this won't fit in there. You'd have to jam it, and jamming it in there would scratch it. And that's how he broke this one section off of the side, as he stuck the pry bar in there and then pulled it out. There is nothing that would scratch that inside piece. I'm going to try to demonstrate this stuff, but I don't know how it's going to work out since this light's already so fragile.
There you go.
Get the side off of it. Now the plastic tells you exactly how everything came apart.
What I want to know is how in the heck did they
ram that down through there,
and
then pried it
if
off.
in fact she did back up and hit?
Except for he wouldn't have been holding it, and it wouldn't have been flimsy. It would have actually been on the car.
They would have all
See the scratch on there?
if they were smart.
I don't know if the
if they were smart, it would be more believable to me if they had not all the pieces. They were missing a third of it. That would be more believable to me, but they had too many of the pieces for me to believe that they did not tamper with it.
Scratch is showing up with my lighting. There it is. But you can see that scratch. That's the only way a scratch would have ended up on this piece. This camera's hard to pick up that scratch. I can see it in certain lights. I'm trying to see where it was taped together. So this one was already compromised. But you can see the scratch right there. And that's the only reason the scratch would be on there. He used something like the pry bar to pry it in there.
Exactly, Ronnie.
And to break that big piece off of the side. And remember, that's the part that's got the bump outs on it. There's no doubt in my mind. There's zero. In fact, if I had the actual taillights, you can probably see scratches. Because this one, you can see marks on it where I hit it. That leaves witness signs. So this one was only hit with a blunt object that was pretty strong. But it left marks into the plastic where it like scratches it. And when Proctor used the pry bar or straight bar or big screwdriver, I believe you used exactly what I've got. It leaves the mark, the witness tail, in the plastic. But you can see this thing is spider webbed and cracked, but it didn't blow any bullet hole looking spots in it. I've got the whole taillight assembly, all the pieces to it. And with it all back together, it looks nothing like the Commonwealth's. It's got a hole in it, like a bullet hole. Because that is the part that was first impacted. It blew that out. And then the wider part of the pry bar went through, and that's when it started shattering the actual polycarbonate. The polycarbonate is super strong, and these are super thick. It's just when you start using something sharp and pointed and heavy, then you're going to be able to blow it out. There's zero question in my mind of what happened to it. Zero. And with the right expert, with any kind of expert, crash reconstructionist should be able to do it, but you can just look at it and see exactly where the taillight is hit.
He said.
The vehicle comes probably within a, I don't know, maybe 3/16 of an inch all the way around this taillight, and it's encased into the vehicle. And this part, the glass part's what sticks out. But all this is encased in the vehicle, so the top part is probably between the light and the body, the metal body, I would say is an 1/8 inch gap. But more than that, nothing's going to fit in there in that 1/8 inch gap to blow that back out of it. The only way that can happen, and either pried or you just hit it hard enough to where it just snapped it. Because that whole corner is blown off, and I'll show it.
What do y'all think about that? That guy did a really good job of that, y'all. I really appreciated his efforts. I am still looking. Does anybody have a live feed? I don't have a live feed. I got the Choose News Channel 10. I got Trial and Crime, Law and Crime. I've got As the Gavel Drops, and none of them have a live feed into that courtroom up. Does anybody have a live feed? I think Recovery Addict is, he's on that other tile, day 3, part 1. So maybe Judge is not going to be permitting the Karen Reed to be videoed.
She doesn't want to see him.
Canoni said,
You asked me for 20 minutes, okay? I have to finish at 9:50 and be back because they're working in class.
to have the trial Karen Reed hearing, because they were supposed to jury selections, and it was supposed to be filmed up until the point that they were going to start the questionnaires, the voir dires, and there's no live feed right now. So Diane, just rest. We don't have any feed from the courtroom, and we were supposed to.
Oh, that just sucks. Sorry. Sorry. Did you hear me? I said,
but I didn't understand you. Say it again.
I said, that just sucks. Here I have 20 minutes. I can help.
Every time I mention her name, I put a laugh. Yeah, everybody's unable to find a court feed. So what we're going to do is, I've read the documents. We got that going. We got all that done. I'm going to open up a new stream for the other trial we started watching. Get that going. Shut this stream down.
Okay.
Then if they do go live, I will hop back in again.
No problem.
How you doing, Miss Di?
I'm doing fine. Better question is, how are you doing?
Don't even ask.
I know. I know. I know. I got your message, and I just sat and cried and cried and cried. Ain't that something? Ain't even mine, but I cried and cried and cried with you.
For those who don't know, we lost my service dog Saturday, unexpectedly.
Yeah. Just, whew. Don't even go there, Karen. I will be sobbing if you do. Don't go there.
Yeah, I'm so depressed. I'm eating donuts and kolaches.
Oh, yeah. Well, the donuts and kolaches will pass, and you'll go back on your diet, and you'll be wonderful. Well, was Jared there by chance?
I only eat about 4. I did eat a whole donut. I will be honest. I ate a whole donut.
Well, was Mr. Jared there?
Gerald is sitting right here.
Hello there, Mr. Gerald. When am I going to get to meet you and Miss
Gerald? He can't hear you because I've got everything in my ears.
Okay, well, tell him I said hello.
Well, Miss Diane says hello.
I'm really, really glad he was there. That helps. That always helps. My student is working on his sock baby.
Sock baby?
Sock baby. They had to make a sock baby in class, and they're having to care for it and carry it around and take care of it. And
I remember when I was in high school, they had these baby dolls that would cry, and you'd have to put a key in their back, and you'd have to rock them and feed them and change their diapers and all of that good stuff. If you were in home ec, I was jealous because I wanted to have one of those, and then I saw how much of a pain in the butt it was. I was like,
you decided no.
God, I don't have to have one of those.
If it's going to work out for you, for me to come on another day, let me tell this lady something. If it's going to work out for me to come on a different day, that's fine. I understand unexpected company.
Well, the raw egg. Now that I had to do.
Yeah, I know. Carry that raw egg around. And hope and pray it doesn't break.
My mama boiled me an egg and had me carry that around. We drew on it identical, and then I took the raw egg in because she didn't want rotten egg all over her floor should I have dropped the baby.
Absolutely. So, question.
Answer.
I know this is very soon, but will you contact the place where you got Sensei and tell them and see if you can get another pup?
Yesterday morning.
And what they
out that they had gotten 3 dogs from that organization, and Sensei was the longest living of those 3 dogs.
Are you serious? Then it sounds like they all might have had issues.
Yep.
That is just sad.
And it's very difficult, and I am trying my best not to be overly devastated, but I'm
sure.
I just everywhere I go, I reach down to pet her, and she's not there, and I just Yesterday, I got in the car to go teach sign language, and I had to get the book out of the back of the car where she would sit, and I just totally lost it. Harold and I emptied out the back of the car.
Yeah. Yeah. When Moose died, I was over in Namwalik, and Margie and Lee buried him. So
I'm just beyond myself at this point.
Oh, I understand that.
They passed away Saturday.
Huh?
Unexpectedly.
Yeah.
I'm telling her she didn't know. Sensei unexpectedly passed away. I did CPR. I did everything to save her, and there was nothing I could do. We think it was her heart, a congenital heart defect that took her.
Where are you located?
Me?
No, not you. I'm supposed to pick up something today, but it's going to be way after 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I don't know if that's going to be too late for her. So I don't know where she's located.
Switch trials. Let me let you go. Let me close out this live. I'm going to teleport. Oh, I need to do that before I even do anything. I need to teleport people over to the other live. We will go live again, everybody. Should we should anything come up on screen, we will teleport back over into a live. That way we don't miss anything. I just really don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm not trying to be mean. It's just I can barely.
It's hard.
Hello, Britt. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
All right. Well, let me go. You can do I stay down here in the corner?
I'll send you a new link.
That'll work. All right. Love you.
Okay, everybody. What we're going to do is I'm going to end this live. We will come back to the Karen Reed trial should something come live. If not, we're going to stay over here at the burned and beaten Red Room trial. I'm sorry, did everything I could. We'll see what's going on. She was a lab. And so let me go live at this other stream before we hang up on this stream so y'all teleport. Let me enter. Add the stage. Give me just a second to get all that done. But it's been a very difficult weekend. It's been a very difficult weekend. StreamYard. Get me back where I need to be. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get everything set up. Okay, guys, I'm going live at the other one. All right. Thank you so much for. We're going to teleport to everything happen. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. I hope you have an awesome day. Till next time, take care.